Welcome to FaithStance with Mercy. First of all, I want to say thanks to everyone that have subscribed to the channel, like the channel, and want to follow me on this journey, this journey of faith. So today, I'm going to be sharing from our personal experience, but basically, I'm going to sort of like say a little bit about today. It's a situation where your faith has been tested. So, what happens when you have faith for something and you believe with all your heart that what you have faith for is going to happen? But at the end of the day, so that means that when you believed in this thing, right, you've prayed, you fasted, like you really trusted God, but it felt like God didn't show up. Or maybe in your own definition, he didn't show up anyways, but yeah, what you wanted him to show up for, or the specific thing you prayed for, it didn't happen. But the thing is that as Christians and as we take this journey, we are going to realize that these things are things that every Christian faces. So you are not alone. I've been there, as well. So today we're going to be talking about one of the hardest truths in our faith work. Um, this is going to be difficult to say, but let me just say. So in late 2010, my faith was put to, I would call it the ultimate test, right? When I lost my mom. I don't really talk about it much, but yeah, anyways. So it was completely unexpected. So what I mean is, for example, if you have someone, a loved one that is sick, really sick, you sort of like expect that it could happen, even though you are believing or trusting God that, person will get better. But you can't expect that to happen. But in this case, for my mom, it's almost something we expected. In fact, it was a time of celebration. So this was like a true definition of celebration turns to mourning. So I was a teenager then, right? And I'm like the last born in my house. So I remember when she died, I and most of my siblings, we were really, really full of faith at that time that she was going to rise again, like she was going to wake up. So we're praying over her. Like we used to go to the mortuary like every day for consecutive number of days. Like we're praying, like so that maybe believing for that Lazarus moment. So days went by, and nothing changed, and eventually we had to do the burial. But I remember when things settled, like after the burial and everything, I had a wrestle with God. Like, I kept asking, like, Lord, you said if we had faith like a mustard seed, we can move mountains. And I'm very sure at that point that my faith was bigger than mustard seed, right? But why did the mountain move? Why did that happen? So there was that season of doubt, that season of confusion, frustration, and all of that. And this is just me sharing something that happened to me personally. Now, from what I've shared, my mom still died, right? So is it that I didn't have faith, or my faith wasn't enough? So sometimes these are some of the questions that happen. And I remember reflecting on some things. For example, let's even take someone from the Bible, for instance. So I know I'm not the only one who has faced this. And even in the Bible, there are people with strong faith that did not always receive what they hoped for. Let's talk about John the Baptist, right? This was a man that sort of like prayed, like prepared the way rather, for Jesus. He baptized him. And remember, when he baptized Jesus, there was like, a cry from heaven, or like something from heaven is saying that, yeah, this is my beloved son in whom I were pleased. So John the Baptist was there, so he heard it as well, and so he boldly preached about the Messiah, baptized God, Jesus, and all of that. But when it came to a particular season in John the Baptist's life, when he was in prison, this same person that was in that moment when he baptized Jesus and God revealed who Jesus was, sent his disciples to ask Jesus, are you the one who is to come, or should we look for another? But the truth is, John was in a dark place. He was questioning if Jesus was really who he said he was. And yet, he didn't even get the response he wanted. Jesus' response was not to break him out of the prison, because probably what John expected was that, oh yes, so the Messiah is there, I've prepared the way, the Messiah is there, I cannot be having this type of suffering, right? He had faith that Jesus was going to do that for him, right? But what Jesus did was just to affirm his mission. So eventually John was executed. So the thing is, did John not have faith? Of course he did. But did he get the outcome he had hoped for? No. So does that mean that God abandoned him? No. Instead, what his story reminds us is that God's plan is bigger than our human understanding. And what I've come to understand over the years is that faith isn't magic. Faith is not a guarantee that we will always get what we want. And sometimes what we call faith is actually hope. And why hope is important, true faith is built on something deeper. And what is that? It is trusting in God's sovereignty, even when things don't make sense. Right? That's just simply it. Trusting in God's sovereignty, even when things don't make sense. So we live in a world where we often try to equate faith with results. But faith isn't about controlling the outcome. It is not. It is really merely about trusting the one who holds the outcome. That's the foundation of faith. Like, you are not sure what you are believing for is going to happen. You are not sure what you want is going to happen. But you are sure of one thing, the one who holds the outcome, right? So maybe you are in a season where your faith is being tested. Maybe you have been believing God for something and it hasn't happened, or it didn't even happen at all. No can also be an answer. So I want to remind you today that God sees you. He hasn't abandoned you. He knows your pain and he is still sovereign. And even when life doesn't always go the way we planned, he is still there. So this message I bring for you today is just that I want you to know that this journey, this Christ work journey that we have, is not a guarantee that everything we desire in life is going to happen. So I would want to hear your thoughts about when your faith has been tested and how you were able to wrestle with God in that moment, and what your revelation were at that moment, and how you went through it, because there are a lot of people, probably that's their season right now, and they are just looking for someone to encourage them or someone to have that honest conversation with them about how they overcame it. Sometimes we are in church and hearing a lot of testimonies, and it's like, when is my testimony going to happen? But within those testimonies, these people, they are sure to tell you that there were journeys that they went through. Sometimes testimony might look really, really, sweet and all of that, but it could have been years of building and trials and things that didn't show up, But this is what this FaithStance is about, right? So don't forget that this work of faith is a work we do together. Is a work that we are not alone in the journey. We have our brethren, your people around you that love God, that wants to know more about God. We have them around us, and it is important that when we have these trials, you have people that you can talk to. And that's what I hope that this channel, that this space, it's able to do for you out there. So thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more faith discussions. See you on the next video.